How are we doing today?
How are we doing today? I'm doing good. I went to work today. I sang a 2-year-old her ABCs. She cried. Only for 30 minutes out of the 50-minute class.
Yes.
Yay, progress. Last week it was 40 minutes. This week it was 30 minutes. We're,
A lot of
we're seeing
progress.
some progress. I know, and she wasn't crying when she walked in as well. It was super exciting. But yeah, otherwise, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you? You're looking so good.
Yeah,
I will take this new
I
look.
just bought a new camera. I don't know. It's not. It's like I got a haircut. That was the wrong reaction. Like,
Well, we can see you. We can see your hair for the first time.
I want to ask you, when you were younger, like in your 20s or earlier, how did you thought your life would look like?
So I was very much in that sort of later millennial era where we were still very strongly brainwashed. You have to go to university, you need a degree, milestones that you needed to hit in order to become a successful human being. And right after we graduated high school is when the first big recession hit. I think that was almost like a trigger for everything to like start changing. Everyone started questioning what having a job was, what growing up as an adult was. To go even further down the line, there were all this research done as well. It's been proven that people only really reach adulthood at like 25 years old, frontal lobes and whatnot. In my sort of high school years, I knew I always wanted to get into an entertainment industry. I already sort of saw myself outside of the norm or like the box that everyone put themselves into. But it was sort of like a weird, distorted sort of feeling at the time, especially because all my friends were like, oh, I need to go to university. I'll maybe do a gap year if I'm being rebellious. But otherwise, most people did like the higher education thing. I ended up kind of doing it as well. That's probably like another story as well. From a start, I didn't really have expectations. But as I grew up, I felt more and more pressured almost to tick those boxes. I think it's like a millennial thing as well. And then also seeing the people around me get married, having like kids and stuff, me sort of like questioning and like not feeling ready for that, but feeling like I should be. Also trying to trust my story and my path. With that said, though, I grew up with parents who went against that norm in so many different ways. Because my dad's English, my mom's Japanese. In the end, both of their parents agreed to their marriage, but they didn't to start off with because essentially both their parents were against each other at war, like literally. My granddad and my dad's. Yeah, I know, that's crazy, right? When you think about it, like that's how recent World War II was. So my grandma, my dad's side, was a nurse. My granddad on my mum's side, Japanese, was training to be a kamikaze pilot. Like they went against so many different norms, as well as having me at quite old ages for the time. It's quite normal now, I think, but my mum was 37 when she had me. So it's like quite a unique situation. So like being born and brought up in that situation, I kind of have less anxiety. But with that said, like, as I mentioned before, I still have these moments where I'm like, holy shit, what am I doing?
I am still shocked about the backstory of your family. I think this is so karmic. I'm coming from a very traditional background. My parents are both Greek. They have been together since they were like, my mother, I think, was 19. For Greece, people were like marrying very young. So my mom was 26, a stay-at-home mom for most of her life. The whole situation has been really ingrained into the expectation, especially from my father, because he always had very stable jobs. I was so different. I always wanted to do something I'm passionate about. I didn't really have a place to reflect that, to resonate, to identify it in my environment. I totally resonate with what you said about not having so many expectations at the start when I was younger. I felt the most weight the last years, especially this year where I'm like 29. I had a completely different idea around who I would be at this age. It's still related. Like I wanted to be an artist, but I wanted to be so career focused and successful. That was my thing. Not rich, surprisingly, but like at a very high position, if that makes sense, in something creative. This year, I had to process this is a fantasy, and after a lot of grief, I accepted it. I've been through specific circumstances, I had specific tools and many disadvantages, to be honest. So, you have to consider all these things, which are not romanticized compared to that ideal. No one knows what the fuck they're doing, and there is like no end result. It's not like you climb a specific road with all these points, have a family, have the best career, which is like a fucking fairy tale, to be honest. It's also so outdated compared when those societal ideals were created, especially financially. Even one person in like a 2-people household could be working and they could buy a house and all these glamorous family-oriented lifestyle, but now that's not the case, not in the least. We have to not to consider only the past circumstances and our personal circumstances, but what is truly happening for most people in this society. The blueprint of adulthood is a scam. Do you have any experience that is related to that? The one that's been the most significant to you?
I think I had like a similar experience when I was 29 as well. So for context, it was 2020, so COVID.
No.
Right?
It's two bricks hitting you at the same time. Like you cannot deny that. Like
at the time, that's what it felt like. Like I felt robbed of my last year of my 20s. Because, I had all these plans, I was going to travel, I was going to do all these things, and all of that just went right down the drain. It was like a weird wake-up call. My first realization where I had all this time to like reflect and think, consider everything all of a sudden. Because I had been going for the past 4 years, like non-stop in the entertainment industry, almost half killing myself just to do the thing that I wanted to always do, right? And it just gave me realization of, is this even what I want to do for the rest of my life? And is it something I can physically do for the rest of my life? Two very different questions, but very similar questions. Both answers, to be honest, was no. And it was at that turning point of being 29 and having all of this time all of a sudden to myself of questioning. And at the time I was like an assistant designer for a brand new musical. So it was like going to this new experience, trying to design something, but also having to figure out where to from here after this journey / COVID mayhem ends. That was definitely one of my big awakening moments. And that's what triggered me to start looking at different things that I could do. It also helped me to like start creating my Udemy courses as well, because I just needed that outlet that wasn't directly tied to what I valued my life to be. When people would come up to me, it's like, oh, what do you do? I was like, oh, I work for this company. That was my whole entire identity. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm happy for people who have that, but it just didn't feel right for me. I just didn't feel like that was the creative job that I always envisioned myself, that I would be happy in. But because it was this huge dream that I had since I was 16, I was like, I've almost peaked and there's nothing more than this. And walking away from it is almost like me being a loser when it's not. And it wasn't in any sense of that form. But at the time, that's what it felt like. So like having that time to be able to look at all the different options and to come to that realization was definitely groundbreaking for me. And to be able to do that at an early-ish age as well. I'm happy that that happened at that time. If COVID hadn't hit, I would still be at that miserable job right now. And that scares me. I'm thankful for that time.
I don't think you give enough credit to yourself. Like it wasn't only COVID. What really helped at COVID is that people finally had some headspace to see
Oh.
what's a priority. The fact that you already were in that situation, in that road that you wanted to go, that was close to your ideal, I think it takes so much guts, not just honesty, because honesty is one thing, doing it is another. That's the hardest thing. You have to have a lot of strength as a person to say, that's not what works for me right now, and I believe enough in myself to try something new, something that's closer to what I want to do.
Appreciate it. I would love to hear yours.
I feel I have so many pivotal moments. I will talk about my experience now. For me, has also been around identity. Even though I always thought I was like very open-minded, I was biased about some things that were harming me. I being an artist, I don't have by any means the traditional career. I was mostly like freelancing and trying to be the boss of me, but I was scared to go full in. I didn't know how to do this. It's been maybe at least a year where I haven't been feeling it creating 3D that much. So I feel I have been forcing me to go to a more corporate direction, which is connected to my past dreams. So I made the whole freaking plan so well, so organized, everything was laid out. I started trying it. And then one friend told me about government job opportunity, something like really casual and stable. Something clicked and I was like, no, I have been feeling I need to have something stable, both like financially. I really need routines. So external boundaries really help me. Things have been stale. I try to live an unconditional kind of life, but the way I have done it, it's not really servicing me. So I decided to try this. I thought this is a great opportunity to give myself space to see where I want to go, because I still want to do something creative. I've been gripping hard on the artist identity. Every aspect of my life is connected with it, and that instead of making me feel free, it has become a cage at this point. Something that was like, boo, doing something stable, which I avoided for most of my life. Like I've tried it in my early 20s, but I was really rebellious around that. I had a lot of resistance to accept that for my needs currently, this is what I need. So I think this whole experience has helped me a lot to be like, let's do something that will change things up a bit. It will be maybe like a gap year. Like
I love it.
me understanding where do I really want to go. This year I realized what my focus is. My general goal is like communication and connection with people.
Yeah.
There are many fields that can be connected to that. I think the challenge now is like to trust the unknown, which is another difficult point, especially for people who are anxious like me.
Tell me about it. No.
I'm looking forward to getting myself free from my own blueprint. I had created a blueprint that is like on the completely opposite side of the societal one. I think like a part of it was just rebelling. That's what's happening right now.
I appreciate it. It's hard talking about things, especially if it's like happening right now, right? Because of course, like on a day-to-day basis, you're reflecting and you're altering things and you're trying to make sense of all these different things that are happening. But I appreciate that, and I really admire how you can like put it into words. So even if there are parts that you don't understand, you're able to sort of verbalize it, also like materialize it, and I really respect you for that. So thank you for sharing and bringing us on that journey with you. And another point that you mentioned about being an artist and needing to be like a full-time artist in order to be an artist, I think that's something that all of us struggle with. Even if we come to terms with things, I've also had several career changes myself. I was having quite a similar conversation with Tiny the other day as well. In an ideal world, we all want to be full-time artists. That's all we want to do. Then reality hits, right? The curtains come up and we go, oh, there's all these different things, different aspects, not just financially, although that is the sort of common ground and like the biggest one, but there are so many different things, like you mentioned as well, having a set of rules, external rules. I think that's something we can keep the conversation going about and hopefully do like another episode on, maybe bring other people and other artists on as well, and just getting that conversation going, because I don't think it's one that we hear about that often. If anyone wants to talk to us about it or hear more about it or have any questions for us, definitely let us know and we can talk about it in future episodes.